Okay. We have a lot of new evidence. Six pieces at prodigy.us. Genealogy genie at prodigy.us. We're going to find her website. No, we're not. Okay. This is all the information I have about Regina Clementine née Salazar from New Orleans, Louisiana, and her husband Stuart Clementine. She wrote me about a month ago. Apparently, the Roottree lawyers went after her since then. By the time I received her letter and called her, she told me she couldn't cooperate anymore. Her husband, a police officer, ACAB, never knew his father. Told her he thought he might be a Roottree, but he's estranged from his family and didn't want to pursue it because he had no proof. She wrote to me behind his back. Normally I wouldn't be so sure, but she had some pretty credible facts. Some of it I've been able to confirm. Stuart's mother was named Mary Beth Clementine. She was pretty well known in the 30s to 50s, a singer who went to a tour to a lot of churches. You can look her up online. She was a pretty big proponent of adoption. I know for a fact she came to the Butler County a few times. Remember her from when I was younger. And Regina said that Stuart told her that they seemed to spend a lot of time at Miracle Church. She sent me a photo to prove that she's who she says she is. I've attached it to this email. Yeah, I've already looked that up. Please consider saving a tree and not printing this email. Mary Beth Clementine. Mary Beth Clementine came to Butler County a few times, played religious hymns at Miracle Congregation's church. She's mentioned 2 times, though the first visit in 1949 was significantly more substantial. Miracle Congregation welcomes Mary Beth Clementine with open arms. Article mentions that the church's leader was moved when he heard Mary Beth's recording of one of his favorite hymns, His Eye is on the Sparrow. It's a religious hymn. It's been covered over the years by many artists, so it's likely not relevant. Premise is that singer realizes they should not feel discouraged or disparaged by their troubles, as God is watching over every creature. If God can watch over and love something as small as a sparrow, then the singer knows that God is also there to watch over them. Songs about overcoming sadness and hardship through Jesus. If God can find a way to watch over every sparrow, blah, blah, blah. My family's fortune does me no good as a man of the Lord. It's much better spent spreading his word, and I've felt a kinship with Mary Beth ever since I heard her voice. When I learned her personal story, I knew I had to help her in whatever way I could. The Bible is full of adoptions from Moses to Esther. Spending your life taking care of those helpless to help themselves incredibly noble. She and her son are welcome to stay in our guest home. The second visit was a few years later in 1953. The article mentions that her first visit was a massive success at the insistence of Miracle's congregation. She's returned for an encore performance. It also mentions that unusual circumstances of her second son's adoption have prevented her from touring recently. Okay. He's got a whole world in his hands, released by the label New Edison. New Edison, a small record label in Los Angeles, existed for years in the 40s. Raced to release cover records of songs that were gaining popularity. Named after its founder, Sterling Edison. Its biggest claim to fame is being sued by the estate of Thomas Edison in Edison Records versus Edsel. Edison Records' first record labels, unimportant except for potentially a lawsuit they filed in 1949, Edison Records versus Edsel. I'm going to have to look this up at one point. Website about lawsuits mentions this fun case because the name of the lawsuit was actually the biggest problem for the person being sued. A record producer who called himself Edison was immediately outed as not actually being named Edison. Edsel was a German last name, and at the time of the founding of the company, the US was at war with Germany. The company's founder immediately settled to try and get the case to go away, but the damage was done. So Sterling Edsel. There's a New Edison by Mary Beth Clementine. One collection, The Holy Grail, is the re-release of the Old Rugged Cross. First edition was originally published before she legally changed her name. Another site claims the police had to get called to New Edison Records after its owner, Sterling Edison, got in a physical altercation in public, leading to a divorce. There's no cited resources or evidence, but the site's content seems user-submitted. Send me your stories about Old Hollywood, and I'll add them to this page. Okay. Let's do that. So this, I think we can start to kind of fill out. This begins to make a little bit more sense. All right, finished eating. Okay, so we need to figure out this. I think this will lock in these two. We know that she changed her name, right? Where was the... Melly, do not get on my... Don't get on the kotatsu. Trying to eat my french fries. Stuart and Mark. So she has two sons, Stuart and Mark. Old Rugged Cross. Copy. Ooh. Mary Beth Quaker. All right, we got her last name. Mary Beth Quaker. Mary Beth Clementine released the Old Rugged Cross for New Edison. It was advertised quite a few times. First reviewed by the magazine, however, it was the artist Mary Beth Quaker. There we go. Goody goody. All right, so we're not going to find anything there. A woman named Regina Clementine came to her and claimed that her husband has confessed. He thinks he's a Roottree. Stuart is the older boy wearing a vest. Woman in the photo is Mary Beth Clementine, singer who may have had an affair with Miracle Roottree. Why is Miracle wearing a gay tie? He's not. He's just wearing a rainbow tie because he's a miracle or whatever. Public library. I don't know. Edsel. I'm gonna check this. Hold on. How does this still have a clue attached to it? I'm very curious. It's fine. We'll figure this out. Okay. Nothing there. Okay. Page hasn't been updated for 8 months. Okay, so this is just here to tell me that nothing has actually updated. It seems that wherever he got up to after he was sued by Edison Records, he no longer seemed newsworthy. Sterling Edison. Modern Music Monthly had quite a lot of overlap. There are countless advertisements for various covers of popular songs. I think a brief blurb when New Edison was sued by Edison Records. That magazine covered it. It seemed like the lawsuit was settled out of court. New Edison was destined. Oh! New Edison. I'm stupid. And then Edison Records is different. I see. In my head, they were both the same. Okay. Well, we have that bit of information available to us. I really am hesitant to open the company records just because I don't want to, like, have a... Ooh, I just, like, knocked my face cam. I don't want to get, like, too much information all at once and then lose my fucking mind. I guess I'll do it. Okay. Guy Hudson died in May 1982, so the first few months after that year continued along the same pattern as they had been. Things quickly changed when Ernie took over. Most of the extraneous expensive ended. All the secretaries, most handpicked by Guy Hudson, were let go. Sam Madsen left Roottree in 1984. Last of the books you have access to. How did she get access to all the other books, though, in the first thing if she wasn't there anymore? Susan Ford no longer employed by Roottree. Douglas Rosenberg was rehired. Angela Ingram, Linda Lewis, Catherine Garrett no longer employed by Roottree. Here on out, no secretaries are directly employed by Roottree. Roottree instead used a temp agency called Work Time Temp. How is caviar cheaper than all of the other, or than sugar plum? Jeez. We're gonna search that. Worktime Temp is a company with many offices all over the United States. Roottree Candy Company listed on their website is one of the companies they do business with. No connection between Worktime Temp related to your search. Oh, we have quite a few pieces to put together. You were given some partial staff records to cross-reference by Sam Madsen. These records are based on old tax mailing information and only detail the employees that work directly for Roottree in the corporate office. Spider searching people just because they're listed in books was very time-consuming and a waste of my time. Zach Morden, Ernest Madsen Jr., Edward Roottree, Lloyd Carpenter, Carl Monroe, Product Management, Eli C. Roottree, Fred Cross, Albert Cross. Douglas Rosenberg was in multiple, though, is the question. Joanna Robertson. Is that how we got her name? I'm gonna take that one and say that we got it. She died as a cashier, so I listed her as a cashier. But maybe I have to list her as a secretary, I'm not sure. This is a guess. Oh, I was fucking right, though. Spouse. Okay. God, I'm fucking good, guys. This confirms this. Isn't that her name? Stephanie Landon? Yeah. I need to search. That's what we need to do. That's how I'm gonna get this. I'm an idiot. Stephanie Jones. 2 new sections exist. The first is baby photo. There you see a picture of a new family together in the hospital. According, our daughter was named after her grandmother, which ended up being very fitting. So Carolyn. Sure. Guys, I'm so good. Guys, let's go. Let's go. Hit that dab. Edsel Sterling. Nice. Nice. That felt like a breakthrough. Sorry, stuffed my face with food. All right, let's go. This, I just want to say, this sucks. Okay. Stewart is the older boy. So we can easily fill this out now. Stewart. And we know from the computer not much of substance right now. It lists some of the things. With the recent rise in popularity and controversy surrounding my extended family, there's been some extra attention on me. Stay tuned for announcements in the coming months. Uses publicity to accomplish bigger and better things. She seems like a good one. Let's see. So what I'm looking for is Mary Beth Clementine. Her other son was adopted later, and according to a single line of adoption, This is sad. Mary Beth had been twice divorced, both times to her manager Sterling. This ended her career with the religious audience she had been catering to. Performed occasionally since then. She mostly faded into obscurity. Okay. What was the name of her other son? Clark? No. Clementine. Stuart Clementine. Why is their last name Clementine? Regina Salazar, though. We know. I really like that last name. Salazar. I just like it. It's got a good ring to it. We need to look back through our records about Mary Beth because that's where we found the information about her son. Mark. Did they both change their last name? I guess I'm gonna look up them. Crocodile Clementine is listed on the website, the Infamy List. It's a massive list of criminals who are known for odd crimes. Although Mark's nickname would imply he hails from Florida, a lot of the others on the list come from there. Mark is listed as being from Los Angeles. He has a big entry, seems like a real piece of work. Very small note about him being the basket baby of 1950, but most everything else comes from his adulthood. He lost his job in 1975 as a pilot for a regional airline after he tried to board the wrong airline's plane. He was drunk. This is common. Pilots are often alcoholics, apparently. They have like a huge alcoholism rate. Trespassing and assault. Arrested for transporting smuggled animals over the Canadian and Mexican borders for illegal reptile supplier in Los Angeles. He was apparently quite successful for the first 4 years, but was caught when he had to make an emergency landing in Portland after he was bitten on the foot by a crocodile. Portland Telegraph. Yes, this is what I was looking for. Portland Telegraph is your run-of-the-mill newspaper based out of Portland, Oregon. They have a website with a lot of dry statistics, many subscribers. I was looking for that earlier. I knew there was going to be a Portland news site. Mugshot from the incident has been added to your photos. In 1993, he was released on parole, but his freedom didn't last long. He was arrested in 1994 in San Diego for violating it in an attempt to visit his daughter's graduation. He famously punched the principal, a man named Billy Sims. Incident received national press. Billy Sims, principal of Sandstone Canyon High School, who had his 15 minutes of fame in 94 when he was punched by Crocodile Clementine. I'm going to search this just to see if it pops up. Nothing. At a graduation ceremony. Pretty much every news organization, from trustworthy to tabloid, seemed to have their own take on the altercation. It wasn't the punch that captured nation's attention, however. It was Billy Sims' matter-of-fact response to the threat and his comments afterwards, as heard now in famous audio clip from the ceremony. Billy saw Mark hop onto the graduation stage and said, "Sir, you want to sit down or we'll have a problem." At that point, Crocodile sucker punched him in the face. Billy, apparently only slightly dazed, said, "All right, sir, I guess we'll have a problem." That's fucking good, guys. If I got sucker punched in the face, that would be... That's like a... This is a meme, a viral video of all time, for sure. Clementine tried to throw another punch, but Sims anticipated it and performed a maneuver that spectators described as a wrestling move mixed with backward somersault, which immediately brought both men to the floor, with Sims straddling Clementine, keeping him neutralized. As security arrived, the recording captured someone asking, "How did you do that?" And Sim's response was, "Trust me, I'm as surprised as anyone." That's extremely funny. Okay, so he's not a criminal. He was a pilot. And he has a daughter. He has at least 2 daughters. Unless smuggler? No. We're making progress. We are making things happen right now. I'm pretty confident in these so far. Multnomah County Corrections Division, Mark Clementine. Flying weekly between Los Angeles, Juarez, and Vancouver in a small plane. Only caught because he was bit by a crocodile. Had to call in a mayday because he was losing blood. He tried to tell them it was a crop duster who somehow cut his leg on a loose piece of metal in the cockpit. The story seemed very odd and controllers quickly alerted the police. When they landed, they were waiting and he was promptly arrested. What was I trying to figure out with Portland earlier? Felix Fellows. Newspapers Music Credit reviewed his latest album. Okay. Fuck me. Stevie Whitlock. Let's try that. Damn it. Dirty Davy. Dedication ceremony for the local Portland landmark called the Fountain of Youths. Apparently, the unveiling of the fountain, the mayor of Portland made a speech, and there was performances by multiple entertainers as well as ribbon cutting. Article calls out that all the performers and speakers, with the exception of the mayor, were foster care alumni, and most of them grew together as close friends. Poets, musicians, and dancers. Dirty Davy was listed as one of the musicians. We're circling the drain on some of this. We're just doing our due diligence. That's what this game is about. What's my next real lead is the question. I guess this one, right? She was. We'll hold that there. Wait a minute. That kid has red hair. He has blonde hair. I guess his beard is dark, though. And his eyebrows are dark, so maybe it's dyed. I don't know. There's something here to figure out that I'm just not understanding. Okay, slightly longer about the Billy Sims incident. This was because he assaulted her. Clementine had appeared in the paper before. Because of the somewhat comedic sensationalism of the events, Mark Clementine, they did it under banner under the Croc Watch. It should be the name of the article I already found. Is it apparently as seen TV product aimed at kids? Illustrated book about crocodiles and other creatures. Doesn't seem related. Okay. Our good friend Croc Clementine was actually in attendance at the high school graduation because his daughter was walking the stage. He apparently not allowed to attend. His ex-wife had a restraining order, but did so anyways. Unknown to the school staff, including Sims at the time, who he was, but security guard recognized him. That's when the trouble started. He has a daughter, and okay, how am I gonna search up a Croc Clementine restraining order? Fuck me. Damn it. How am I gonna get my payout if I can't figure this shit out? I did search Croc Watch. It didn't really get us anything. Maybe I'll look it up again. Yeah, it's all the same thing. I don't know. Are there any other? Hold on. Current events. Fight between Sims and Crocodile, but approached it from a different perspective. The goal is to paint a picture of the two men involved from others who knew them best. Not only did they manage to interview Sims' wife, Carla, as well as multiple staff members, but they hunted down Colleen Webb, Mark's ex-wife. Oh. I'll take that. Why not? According to the section with Colleen, she and he met when he worked for an airline. She worked in an airport newsstand. He was a drinker and would often have wild mood swings. When he was charged with assault of a fellow pilot, lost his job and divorced. At that time, she was pregnant with their second daughter. She felt she needed to get things before things got worse. Okay, so they have 2 daughters. The older daughter is the student. She left him and moved to San Diego to live with her sister. Told her oldest that her dad had to fly planes for the army. She raised them both by herself, and although she never went through the trouble of changing their names legally, they used the web name so that no one would connect them to their ex-husband. Okay. So, we know their last names are Webb. That's good to know. Can we get anything about the school? Colleen Webb. That was just a hunch. Maybe I would get like a article about them or something. Given the nature of what I'm looking for, yeah, legal names would be there. Hidden Roottree. For sure. We are getting closer to narrowing whatever the hell is going on here down. Billy Sims. What was the name of the thing? The school? Man. I'm gonna have to start looking through company records to try and solidify some of these leads. I'm not super stoked about that.